A brand new season in Major League Soccer has introduced us to a brand new club making their first appearance in the MLS ever. That is St. Louis City Soccer Club. Back in August 2019, the MLS announced it had approved St. Louis as the league's 28th franchise, with the team joining this season.
It was a dream come true as a lifelong St. Louisan and fan of the game in general. Supporting both local soccer, domestic soccer here in the U.S., very much on the up, and then also overseas as well. I couldn't have been more excited to see a team finally arrive in St. Louis after a couple of failed attempts, one that almost materialized in 2017, and finally getting us our professional franchise. And, despite COVID trying to hold us back, we finally did arrive this season, and arrive we had. So it's been everything, every part of a dream you could have imagined, between the sporting side and everything they're doing in the community as well. It's been a significant uplift for the community, and you're seeing that come through in how they're being supported thus far.
The club's ownership group is 100% local, with deep roots in the St. Louis business, philanthropy and soccer, specifically the Taylor and Kavanaugh families, known for Enterprise Holdings and Worldwide Technology respectively.
It's been surreal, to be honest. It's hard to put into words. It's been a long time coming, multiple failed attempts dating back, I want to say almost 15 years ago when we first started hearing about it, and not as strong of attempts back then, but really back in 2017, we actually we went to a vote in St. Louis and unfortunately got voted down. I don't know all the ins and outs of that. It was pretty disheartening for us, and was worried that it would never really materialize. And then about a year and a half later, we picked it up. We're founded in August of 2019, and been hitting the ground running ever since. St. Louis has been packed. Everybody, just from the other stadiums and sports that we have with the Cardinals and the Blues and the Battlehawks, it's a sports town, and it's really been awesome just to see. I've been growing up here and playing soccer my whole life, so seeing to finally go to games, and it's just been extremely exciting for the city.
Before any players were signed, the club named Bradley Carnell as head coach more than a year before the first MLS preseason began.
It's been going incredibly well. We're 5-0. Top of the table, most goals in the league. We're riding on 2 shutouts right now as well. But the style that's really got us there, they've been dubbing it energy drink soccer. So extremely high pressing. You have to have very fit guys. Everybody's got to be right on the right touch, because if you're one step off, the whole thing breaks down. So, and we've seen it break down a couple of times, and we've been able to rely on Roman Berkey from the Bundesliga when he came over. But overall, it's been going extremely well for the team, and it's a very exciting version of soccer.
He had decent MLS experience as an assistant with the New York Red Bulls, as well as a long playing career in the German Bundesliga division. He also teamed up with sporting director Lutz van Steenel, and his high-pressing tactical belief under gegenpressing legend and ex-Man United manager Ralf Rangnick.
Yeah, Coach Carnell comes from a line of coaches that are aligned to this philosophy that has been so wonderfully dubbed energy drink soccer, but really just calling it very high press, very direct in terms of attacking style of play. We don't waste much time in possession. We're not going to have a lot of possession. In fact, we might not even complete a lot of passes in terms of best pass percentages in the league. I think we're actually tracking towards the bottom right now, but that's because we take chances, and we take chances very quickly. So, Coach Carnell, I think, brings to us a style that is easily picked up on by players that can kind of fit into that mold. You don't need to be a superstar to fit into this system, but you need to be fit, and you need to know your positional awareness as well. So he's brought that, he's drilled it into the guys. They've had months to be able to hone this, since we've been able to assemble this expansion team over the course of months, and you're seeing the benefits reaped right now. I mean, we're starting the season perfect, have not lost a game yet. So it's a repeatable process. It's process for him, I think, over results and personnel. He's going to recruit personnel to fit that philosophy, and the results will follow. But it's one that we've already seen success with. We're forcing errors in very, very dangerous positions for the opposition, and we're having a very high passes per defensive action rate. So we're putting teams under pressure. They're put under pressure, making mistakes, playing loose balls, loose touches, and we're jumping on them. So a very, very quick and direct team on the offensive side as well, and we're very lethal so far this season. When given chances, we've been able to convert them. So that's kind of the style that I would say that we're playing with, and we're not the first ones to do it, but we're one of those I would say that are executing fairly well right now.
Joao Klaus, Edward Lowen, Roman Berkey, Tim Parker, Joaquin Nilsson and Jabulo Blom. Despite Nilsson's injury, these players have led the way for St. Louis City so far this season, with the vast majority of the playing roster performing very well, with Jared Stroud breaking through, MLS Next Pro standout Kyle Hebert making a name for himself, and John Nelson making his mark in the defence. The club have multiple senior roster spots open to use, as well as room for a designated player if they want to pursue that as well. Summer and winter 2023 could be a potential spot for new additions.
Absolutely. It's hard to look past the big man, Joao Klaus, up top. He comes to the States and to St. Louis City SC with, I think, a little bit of a hypothetical chip on his shoulder. He was on the books in the Bundesliga, but wasn't really getting the opportunities or the looks that I think he deserved, or the looks that I think he thought he deserved, and had to go out on a couple of loan spells. But he's arrived here, and he's arrived here in style. We were looking to him to be our goal scorer, obviously as one of our designated players, and he's been everything plus more. He's provided 5 goals already this season, which is good for, I believe, second in the overall count for the top goal scorers in the MLS right now, behind a very big talent right now in Jordan Morris, and he's tied with Thiago Almada, who I'm sure will make the jump abroad here very soon. But he's come and he's bringing goals. He's got 2 assists to his name as well, and he's putting in the dirty work on defense as well, which you love to see. A guy like that who sometimes I feel like goal scorers might have a tendency to just rely only on that piece of their game, but he's bringing the whole package. So I have been elated with his performances thus far, and he's contributing at both ends, and he's producing. And what more can you ask of one of your star players?
On April the 18th, 2019, the MLS board approved the proposal to expand to 30 teams, and this was followed shortly by the release of renderings for the soon-to-be new stadium for St. Louis City SC. Construction began in February 2020 as they closed off the exit 39 and 38B ramps off I-64, which crossed the current stadium site. City Park opened on November 16th with a friendly match between St. Louis City's second team and Bayern Leverkusen of the German Bundesliga, with a 3-0 win for Leverkusen, and then the first ever home MLS game for St. Louis City Soccer Club was played on March the 4th, 2023, with a 3-1 win over Charlotte Football Club.
I mean, the next one is definitely our go-to with Edu Leuven in the midfield. So I'd say he's pretty much been the glue for this team. It's one of those guys where hasn't been overly flashy, and we don't need him to. He's directing guys, he's winning balls, he's passing it and dishing it just to get us back into the run of play. And if we need him to, he's great on set balls as well, whipping them in from the corners for the big guys, Klaus in the middle. So I would say he's definitely the one that we look to centrally. When you look at a little bit more some of the role players, I think Nico Gioacchini, he's had some U.S. men's national team caps. He's scoring goals for us as well. That duo up top with him and Klaus has been phenomenal to see to start. Another guy on the left wing, Jared Stroud, he's been very scrappy. Came in from Austin FC, who we actually beat in the first game, and he got a goal there as well. So it's a team. It's really just a really great mesh that Lutz and Carnell have put together. And then you throw it back to the back line as well in front of Berkey. Berkey's been a brick wall, but when you look at John Nelson, Kyle Hebert, Tim Parker, Jake Nerwinski, and then we also had a step up from Lucas Bartlett, who we just signed. I think all these guys are so interchangeable in such a good way that we don't really have many holes at this point. I know it's going to be a long season, but then we got Joaquin Nilsson coming in off of injury, who's probably going to be one of the best center backs in the MLS. So it's extremely exciting and just a well-rounded team. It's absolute top notch. I think Jake and I had a soccer terms on one of ours, and absolute scenes is what I would say for City Park. It's been ridiculous. We've had 2 home games so far, both sold out. Obviously very easy to sell out your first game. The second game that we had, I think that the temperature was around 20 degrees. Everybody stood the entire game, completely sold out. I think as the weather improves, we're going to see even more people. It's rejuvenating St. Louis, the bars and restaurants around there. One of our sponsors, The Pitch. If you're not getting there tomorrow when we have a game, the game's at 7:30. If you're not there by 4 p.m., you're not getting in. It's 1 in, 1 out until it clears out for everybody going to the game. But everybody could not be more excited. Soccer fans or not, it's just great for the city. And then people that have been waiting for a team, the Lugans and us and everybody that grew up in St. Louis and played soccer for their entire life, it's just a dream come true.
It is, yeah. And I'll even start with some of the specs for the stadium. It's seating 22,500 at full capacity. Every seat is within 120 feet of the pitch. So every fan and everyone is so close to the action, which for a lot of casual fans, that's got to be exciting to be so close to it. You don't get that in every sport. and stadium. And then our supporter sections got room for over 3,000. They're always chanting. They're always playing music, playing drums, keeping a beat almost of sorts, or a rhythm going to the game, which is always fun. We've got 4 sides to our stadium that are all open, so there's plenty of airflow. The way the canopy of the stadium is built is to really amplify sound and keep sound in the stadium. So there's always a general buzz about the stadium. You can kind of feel it at all times, even when it's not, even during the game. There's constant chatter, there's constant noise. And I think just the level of excitement about the team, wins aside, everyone loves to win. That's phenomenal. I don't think we need wins to create the atmosphere that we've been able to create so far. I think these fans are legitimately there to enjoy the game that they love. And if they're not there for that, they're getting there. But they're also just excited for St. Louis to have another professional sports franchise, which is what we've been clamoring for a long time now. So there's an excitement. There's sometimes a little bit of anxiety, sometimes with the games going the way they are. Fortunately, there hasn't been too much of that. I'm sure there will be later on in the season. But there's just a lot of buzz. And it's been great to be a part of, because you're we might get asked questions sometimes like, why was that called like that? And there's a lot of education going on as well. So there's just a lot of passion, and you can feel it. It's tangible almost while you're in the stadium. And so I every game that we have at City Park is just another experience just to celebrate the game that we all love with 22,500 people, because we've been able to sell out every game thus far, despite some cold temperatures. So looking forward to a full season of that.
So there we have it. After speaking to Ball Watching, a St. Louis City podcast, and also looking at the history of the club and the expansion of the club into the league, we know that St. Louis finally hosting Major League Soccer has definitely got some history behind it, and we know it's a long time coming. In terms of how they will do in the 2023 season, well, that's still anyone's guess.